Today's episode, guys, we shall be taking a look at another Seann William Scott movie from the thousands, also known as the 2000s, whatever. Either way, take a look at that. We'll be giving you the facts. You make the decision whether you like this film or you dislike the film. You know the drill. Let's get into it then. Hi guys, this is CK from the INI YouTube channel. Today we shall be taking a look at another comedy classic, the 2008 movie Role Models. This film features the likes of Seann William Scott and Paul Rudd, and you might be thinking, how many Seann William Scott films are you gonna do? And I weren't really, didn't really just pick a Seann William Scott film. I picked it at random and this one came out, okay? Chill. Jesus. Anyways, this film is about two ordinary guys, who work at this energy drink company, just like promoting a certain energy drink. I can't remember what the name of that was because that's not the main thing in this film, but either way, let's move on. So these two ordinary guys end up getting done for driving their truck into a statue after getting into an argument with this fucking police officer guy, and either way, they are made to do some type of community service, and from this community service, they then have to work as role models for these kids growing up, somebody to talk to, this sort of like, I don't know, this sort of centre and all that. It's not the typical normal community service like picking up litter at the side of the fucking road. It's completely fucking different, and to me, I think they've got away scot-free. You know what I mean? However, they've got to help these kids out, but these two aren't the best of role models, let's put it that way. One is more like Stifler from American Pie, and the other one's just kind of a boring twat who's quite sarcastic. So these two guys are not really kid type role models for people to look up to. Either way, they're hired, they've got to be role models to these kids, and throughout the film you see them struggling and then coping it towards the end like you would expect. So yeah, without further ado then, let's get into the positives and negatives of this certain film. Let's get into it. So the first positive in this movie for me is the relationship between Seann William Scott and Paul Rudd. And you might be like, what's so special about those? And I'm gonna tell you. So these two actors, okay, Seann William Scott, what's he been in? He's been in American Pie.
Here's a new idea for you. I'll get you a spoon so you can eat my ass.
Been in Planet 51, if anyone wants to class that as a film. You know what I mean? But what's Paul Rudd been in? He's been in 40-Year-Old Virgin and something else, probably. And you go, then why is this movie so good? And I'm going to tell you. It's simply because they work well together. And you might be like, huh, is that all? Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's a great positive, isn't it? So to expand on what I've just said, basically, let's expand on it, shall I? So Seann William Scott in this movie showed like a watered down version of Stifler, and if you've seen Stifler in the American Pie movies, you'll know how over the top that guy is, and he plays that character, that role in American Pie, and I cannot wait to do the review on that movie. But honestly, he plays that role spectacularly in there, and he's just gonna pinched it out of there, watered it down slightly, and put it in this movie, and it just fits. You know what I mean? Paul Rudd, on the other hand, the only movie I'd seen him in prior to watching this one, I think, was 40-Year-Old Virgin and Ant-Man, but Ant-Man were made after. So I think 40-Year-Old Virgin, that little character that he portrays in that is slightly similar. I'm not going to say it's bang on the same character, but it's similar. And I think he stood up to the occasion, because I did not think he was a big actor upon this time. And to me, he just went, you know what, fuck it, let's give it a go. And that's what I liked about him, because he brought something, because there was nothing really for him to lose, because he hadn't really gained actor sort of levels yet. But he, in this movie, works brilliantly, and with Seann William Scott at his side, he could not fail, could he? Really, and this film really showed Paul Rudd's funny side, because in Ant-Man we see tad small parts of that, but this really expands on how funny that guy actually is, and the two together were just dynamite. They just worked like Tim Allen and fucking Tom Hanks and Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy. It just really worked as a pairing of those two characters and of those two people. So yeah, big up for me. So let's go on to the next positive. Just having a breather. So the story for me is a big positive, because you might be thinking, well, that's a tap-in. That's a tap-in of a positive. Well, it's a fucking positive, innit? So shut your fucking mouth, keep watching, because honestly, this story is banging. Because it's got a mixture between, obviously, like, relationships between Danny and his so-called girlfriend, in which is trying to break up with him, which is mental, because apparently he's too boring, and that's why he gets in trouble, because he's pissed off and ends up driving into a statue, which gets them both in the shit, in which is why they become role models. So this is sort of a love relationship in between Danny and his bird, and then you've also got the other relationship later on in the movie between Christopher Maine something or another out of Kick-Ass. And you might be like, what the fuck are you on about? There should be a picture on screen. Who I mean? That guy. Anyways, this guy and this bird he goes to this fucking Dungeons and Dragons shit with end up like connecting, sort of thing. And they end up getting together at the end of the film. Spoilers. But yeah, there's so many love relationships in this, which is cool and all. But then put those two aside, then you've got the relationships between the sort of friendships between, obviously, Seann William Scott and Paul Rudd's characters, Danny and Wheeler. Then you've got the relationships between the lads that they've got to look after as well. So you've got, if I can get this right, so you've got Wheeler and Ronnie in it, who are really cool together, because they bring a lot of comedy to this as well. And Ronnie is just funny as fuck. Honestly, he says some wild shit, and he's obsessed with the sort of stuff that Wheeler is, and them two just get on like a house on fire. Not at first, but the character development throughout this movie just works perfectly. It is absolutely bang on. Then you've obviously got Oggy and Paul Rudd's character, Danny, who get on not as much at the beginning as Wheeler and Ronnie, but after finding a common interest, they're both sort of outsiders and a bit boring. Hey ho, they get into playing Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that, like Game of Thrones type shit, you know what I mean? And as soon as that happens, it sort of builds a relationship and good character development there. So the character development in the story and the story itself is absolutely fucking bang on. And to me, for a comedy movie, it nails all aspects. It's got cool comedy moments in it throughout the movie, very memorable parts in this movie, and it's just got everything you want in a cool comedy story. And that's why this is a big up for me, another big positive. So then, the final positive. And it's just how fucking funny this movie actually is.
What's up, chipmunk ass butt? We got
Come on,
ass butt.
sit down.
Up your ass butt.
Please. Danny, I like Ronnie's version better. I like how it evokes the concept of ass and butt.
Honestly, this was the first time I'd watched this movie a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I'm rolling here. On some of these moments, I was absolutely fucking rolling. Because I'd come across a comedy gem in which I'd looked at before and just gone, I'm not too bothered about that movie. It looks alright, you know what I mean? It's got Seann William Scott in, but I'm not too bothered. But as soon as I watched it, I was just like, what the fuck have I just watched? This was amazing. This is now added to my comedy collection as a movie I'm going to be watching for quite a long time, because it's so good. It's so good. I don't think it's at the heights of like American Pie, but that is some extreme levels to get to. I would say it's like a mid-level comedy movie where it's not like over the top like American Pie and any other, like Police Academy. It's not on those types of levels, but it's just the one below it. And that's why, to me, it impressed me, because I did not have high hopes for this movie. I thought, I'm not liking this story at all. Like, when you look at it before you watch it, you view it, don't you? And you think, and you give an impression and you think, oh, I don't like that movie. But then I banged it on, I was like, this is fucking mint. So yeah, so never judge a book by its cover, because, or judge a DVD by its cover or blurb or whatever. That's sort of the good moral here, because honestly, it was banging, it was funny as fuck, and yeah. So let's get on to the negatives then, because I'm fucking fed up with the positives. I want to disappoint your day. Let's get into it. A massive thank you to our viewers and our likers and subscribers who are consistently watching our YouTube channel, and it is just me saying thank you to you, and I just want to say a big thank you. We appreciate it, and we hope I hope you continue to like, subscribe and comment to help our channel grow. Our aim is to get to 50 subs by the end of the year, and you can help us by hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and getting in the comments to let us know what things you want to see on the channel, because I want criticisms, I want positives from this channel, so then we can help this grow. Let's get on to the negatives. So let's get on to the negatives then. We've covered the positives, so let's disappoint your day. So this movie, and in this movie review, I didn't really have many negatives. However, the one that stood out for me, and the only one that stood out for me, was the fact that the script might have been limited. And before people go crazy and fucking start leaving the video, I just want to clear this up. That the fact that this movie is limited, in my opinion, because the ceiling for this movie was there. You know what I mean? It could never go higher than that. The story wasn't strong enough to be like American Pie, like Dumb and Dumber, like Police Academy. These iconic comedy movies, it could never get to that next step. However, it did the best it could. And this is a negative, but it's not the strongest negative, if you get me. It might be me being picky, but I just think the story just wasn't strong enough, even though I praise the story, because it reached its full potential. It reached above my potential, but the actual film potential that it had, I think it met the potential. It didn't go above the potential of that movie. It did what it said on the tin bits, if that makes sense. So to me, I didn't think there was anything in this movie that will like go fucking bang, it's all over the internet or anything. Like some of the American Pie moments are all over the place, aren't they? Some of the Police Academy parts are all over the place. And all these other comedy movies that you've probably got lined up, I bet you could easily find clips of this online. But this one is a very underrated comedy in that retrospect, that it scrapes under that. It's not one of those big, gigantic comedy movies that'll define a decade. It's not that. And to me, it was limited by how the story was probably written. That there was none of these big iconic moments where you go, fuck me, that was hilariously funny and will be remembered for fucking years to come. But that didn't happen, obviously, and it's a small negative. I'm not going to dig it out too much for not reaching above its potential, because there's plenty of movies we could, criticise for that, in which we're not. So anyways, that was the only negative for me. Let me know if there's any other negatives you can think of in the comments below. Anyways, let's get on to the summary. To summarise then, I believe this film, or this movie should I say, is a 7.9 out of 10. And is a world-class movie. And you might be like, why are you rating it under that barrier? And like I said, it's that negative of that it reached its potential of being a mid-card. So if you're thinking it like a boxing event or a wrestling event or something, it's in the mid-card, where it's not really bad, but it's not really good. It's like a middle film. It's a world-class film, don't get me wrong. I love it's up there now as a gem for me, as a hidden gem. It's quite underrated. However, it's not a main eventer. It's not the blockbuster movie that that it should be, really. But like I said, I'm not going to hit it down too much, because my rating is probably accurate in my opinion, because it's not quite there, is it, in terms of your Dumb and Dumbers, your Police Academies, your fucking, I don't know. Get in the comments down below what you think is a good comedy movie, and I'll compare it to that. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's look at what people review this as. So IMDb rate this a 6.8. Yes, a 6.8. So these are people that have voted it as a 6.8, in which I highly disagree with. I think it's definitely, because that to me, a 6 is like below average, if you get me. Is like, because your average is in the middle, above average, below average. This movie is not below average. I think it achieved everything it said on the tin. So I think this is at least a 7. So I think IMDb people who voted or chose their ratings have been harsh on it there. And then also Rotten Tomatoes rate this as 77%, in which I sort of agree with. That sort of around my level of rating. And I think Rotten Tomatoes has been quite fair on this movie, because I know in other movies they absolutely rip a film to shreds and give it like a 23% or some shit. And I think Rotten Tomatoes is more accurate to the film. And yeah, I totally agree with Rotten Tomatoes' view on this, because it's not far away from mine. It's well into the 7s. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So anyways, thank you for watching today's movie review. Let me know down in the comments below what movie review you want to see, or if you agree with any of the positives or negatives I've said in this movie review. Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Laters. There you go. Click this one to see more reviews like this one. Honestly, a full playlist here for you to go and check out. Click this one. However, if you just want to watch just one more video, just click this one. This is our newest video right here. Or if you just sort of I'm not bothered about another video, well, I've got a treat for you. Just hit that subscribe button, so then you're alerted to the newest one. So then if you're not too bothered now, you can come back later. And also press that notification bell as well. It'll really help us out. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know, like I said, in the comments down below what films you want to see in here, and we can do it for you. Thanks.